Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Wrestling Unlimited, as it is the 9th of May, 2026, and tonight was WWE Backlash. Now, as far as Backlash does go, and the Wikipedia is not wanting to load for me for some reason, because I want to get the, what's it called? The match times. Give me 2 seconds. Let me reload it. WWE Backlash. Let me just open a new tab and reopen it. Wikipedia. I'll throw it over here on this screen so it's just always up. Excuse me. As far as Backlash does go, I didn't think it was. Now, the main event, I loved. I thought Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns was a really, really good match, and I love the story they're telling with Jacob. I love the Jacob Fatu story that they finally gotten to, that I hoped they would always get to, and they finally have. And we'll talk about more on what that story is and how I think they're going to go with it going forward. But, and it's going to be a little fantasy booking, but we'll talk about it. But the other thing was, Trick and Sammy did have a better match than the WrestleMania match. Asuka and Io freaking killed it, had a great match. And then we had, Seth and Ron Breakker also had a really, so from an in-ring standpoint, other than the Danhausen stuff, we had really good matches. Like, I don't know if you can say Trick and Sammy was a really good match, but it was a good match. It was better than the WrestleMania match. Braun and Seth was really good. Io and Asuka was great. And I think Roman and Jacob was great for what it was supposed to be as well. So overall, the show was really good. Now, how long did the Danhausen stuff go is my question. 12 minutes. It felt like 20. That felt like it went on forever. Now, I get the benefit of WWE having Danhausen because he's very good for PR, as far as he's a guy that you can send out there and be on a sports center. He's a guy that you can send out there and do the Make-A-Wish stuff, go to the children's hospitals, do the public relations, the public facing things, and be good at it. Danhausen's very good at improv. Danhausen's very good at just knowing the right things to say. I guess that goes in with improv. But I think from an in-ring standpoint, Danhausen can go out there and have a match. He can have a match, but he's not going to go out there and have some sort of banger. And it's always going to have to be like a comedy match or him getting squashed by somebody. And especially right now, you don't want him getting squashed by anybody. So the Danhausen stuff is just going to be what it is, unfortunately. And so those are going to be the low points of the show. I'm just going to say it. They're going to be the low points of the show. Also, I can admit when I'm wrong, it wasn't Jelly Roll. I thought there were little things that we knew and this and that and saw coming that it was going to be Jelly Roll, but it wasn't Jelly Roll. I thought because Jelly Roll at one point was scheduled for this show, he was going to be on the show anyways. And yeah. Elite says, Tim played mixtape last night, ... Yikes. Why? Because people that have not played mixtape, well, I can't say that. There's a lot of discourse with mixtape. I enjoyed what we played last night for a couple of hours. What did we do? 2 hours or so of mixtape? Hour and a half to 2 hours? Something like that. I enjoyed what I played so far, and I do want to go back in and finish that game. I can understand, and now I'm getting off topic here for a minute, but I can understand people not liking mixtape. I can understand people saying, oh, I don't even have to play the game for the game to play. In certain points of the game, sure, but those are the more cutscene style aspects and portions of the game. There is still parts of this game where you're going around and you're searching and you're finding things. Hey, you got to open up this cabinet. Where's the key? You got to find the key. You got to get to this to find the key. You got to go over here to unlock a memory to go, oh, wait, the key may be here because I remember my sister saying something about this that is like a clue of where she could be hiding the key. And then you open up the thing and you get the key and you find the key to open the armoire. And then you get another clue of, hey, go here because you can find what you're looking for. I'm trying to be very vague to not give any spoilers. But I like the little look around and just, can you find everything? Can you find all the little hidden Easter eggs? Can you find all the puzzles, and hey, you got to get the different pictures on the wall, put them up there, boom, and unlocks a memory. And the memories are going to be the less you're playing kind of things. The more they're quote unquote, like, here's the thing. People are all mad about, you don't have to play to actually play mixtape. Again, that's not true. When you unlock a memory, you basically trigger a cutscene, but it is if you want it to be interactive cutscene. You can interact with the cutscene. And that's what people are not trying to say. There's a lot of people online these days that want to just shit on stuff, but not give the full context of what they're shitting on. Like this one goof on Twitter that I had to just try and shut down today. Oh, you're going to pay $30 for 3 matches to watch Backlash? Well, first off, no, you're getting 5 matches. His whole thing was only 3 matches are on the pay-per-view portion. Well, first off, it's not pay-per-view. It's get a month of this subscription service. And hey, guess what WWE is doing in May? 2 PLEs. So what does that mean? You get Backlash and Clash in Italy all for one price. All for one price. So whenever someone's going out there going, we have to pay $10 a match. That's what this fucker said. That's what this dumb motherfucker said. We're essentially paying $10 a match. What? No. Because he's not also going to tell you that on May 31st, there's another PLE that rolls into your month subscription for May of ESPN Unlimited. So you're getting 2 shows for the price of 1 this month from WWE and ESPN Unlimited. But is he going to say that? No, because he's trying to shit on WWE. He's trying to crap on WWE. Then he wants you to go and watch his reaction stream. I wouldn't check out his reaction stream. He's sitting there going like this the whole time. Oh. Haha. Oh. Well, we expected that. Who the fuck wants to watch that? That's why I don't do these goddamn reaction streams. And when I do on Wednesdays during Dynamite, I'm also playing a video game, so I'm giving you more context. I'm not just having you sit here and watch me go. Gotta take notes. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. No. Because where's the fun in that? Why do I want you to come watch me just stare at a screen? You know what I mean? But with all of that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we go live, when we post new videos, and when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to our graphics tutorials, our graphics packages, a badge next to your name, emotes and emojis, and so much more. You can also get all that at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And also on YouTube, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. Finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Tomorrow's Mother's Day, and we're getting 3 mothers in Fortnite. We're getting Lois Griffin, we're getting Peggy Hill, and we're getting whatever the mom from Bob's Burgers is, because I don't watch Bob Burgers. I don't know her name. But we're getting all 3 of them in Fortnite tomorrow for Mother's Day. Just like they did last year for Father's Day when we got Bob, when we got Hank Who was the other one? I can't remember because we already had Peter from the Battle Pass. Anywho, correct me. Let me know in the chat. Anywho, if you want to buy any of them, which I'm going to give me some Peggy Hill, you can use our code PW Unlimited at checkout. With all of that, got Backlash to talk about. Give me 1 second. I need to check something. Anywho, as far as Backlash does go, I didn't see any of the pre-show because I got home right when this show was starting because I had to go get my car worked on today. Usually I can do all the work myself, but when it comes to transmission, that's where I'm like, no. I had to get the transmission flushed and everything. I got a damn Nissan, so they got them CVT transmissions where it's like, hey, don't work on them by yourself. Don't do them yourself. They're shittier transmissions. They don't last as long. You got to maintain and do maintenance on them more often than a regular one. So I'm just like, you know what? Usually do all my own stuff. I'll just go take it to a shop and get them flushed. It'll cost a lot of money. Anyways, I got home like maybe 10 minutes before the show went on the air. So I didn't see any of the pre-show. There's never anything on the pre-show anyways. Actually, before we get into it, let's go. We got some bit donations here from Esports Gaming Rules. He says that Io Sky and Asuka moment was totally unscripted and it blew up on social media. Well, do we know that it was totally unscripted? Has anybody confirmed that? I saw fans online trying to say, oh, that seemed unscripted. That looked unscripted, blah, 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 blah. But was it? Do we know? Because if you watched the post-show for Backlash, they were asking, is this a goodbye from Asuka? Like Big E and Kathy Kelly were saying, is this a goodbye for Asuka? So it's like, I don't know. Whoa. Someone just sent me this crazy Darby spot. Oh. Yep, Darby did another I'm going to kill myself spot. He popped Pac and got thrown off a balcony through a bunch of tables, and they broke all weird, and one didn't break, and, yeah, Darby. What are you doing here, bud? Trying to kill yourself yet again. Anyways, the Asuka thing was weird. The Asuka thing was weird as far as her hugging Io afterwards, whispering something in her ear, putting her leg up on her and all that. And we don't know what that really means. What that is Asuka leaving WWE? Or is it just, man, we really did go out here and kill it and got this crowd, because this crowd started off the first 2 minutes of this match that went 18 and a half minutes, which is actually the second longest match of the night. And for the first 2 to 5 minutes or so, they were just, we want Kyrie. We want Kyrie. Then eventually it was, oh, snap. They're having a fucking great match. We're just going to cheer for them. You know what I mean? I haven't seen anybody say that it was, quote unquote, what's the word I'm looking for? Unscripted or anything. He says, I'm glad WWE Universe loves the John Cena announcement. So I really thought, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Hold the phone. Because John Cena literally told us, oh, let's go, I'm going to talk about WWE in Tampa. And then didn't. Or Club WWE. Let's watch. This is why I was so, it's going to be a Club WWE announcement. Let me go to John Cena's Twitter and go to 23rd of April. The 23rd of April, right here. Let's pull this up on the screen. John Cena was responding to a now not there tweet and said this, man, if only it were 2023 again, I might have different business at WWE Backlash. Alas, the years pass. I am going to try to do something epic in Tampa for 5/9. I promise Club WWE something special. Stay tuned. So this is why I was like, John told us it's Club WWE related. John told us it's Club WWE related. Then WrestleVotes is like, everyone in the company thinks it's, or a lot of people in the company think it's Club WWE related. Then Cena comes out and announces a whole new concept for a whole new thing in WWE. A new show and a new fan-voted champion. Yeah, you heard me right. A fan voted champion, which actually, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's Trick Williams would say, let's talk about it. So, John Cena gets introduced before the main event, and he comes down to the ring, and he has to tell this one guy how to do his job. I don't know exactly what was going on there, but he comes out, and he goes, oh, listen to him. And he's just going like this, right? And he's like, go over a little bit. And he's like, hey, this is how it works. I stand here. I talk to Stu. Stu moves out of the way. You move out of the way. Stu asks me if I'm ready. And then I go down there. And I guess someone was standing in his way, and he was just telling this guy what to do. I don't know. But then he's like, Stu, you really good for it? Let's do it. Stu, let's get it. And then he walks down to the ring. Instead of the run, he's walking now to the ring. And it's Cena in a suit. So, and let me just go to that part of my notes. Cena announced something big, actually. I don't know if it's big. He said it was ground shattering or earth shattering or whatever, but Cena comes down. The crowd's chanting, one more match. And he's just like, yeah, no. It's good to know that I can come down here and do that entrance and know no one's going to come out here and try to kick my ass. Cena said he was happy with how everything has gone down since his retirement. He wanted his final opponent to earn the spot, and that's exactly what happened. He loves helping people earn opportunities. He loves seeing people earn things in this company, get opportunities and earn and prove why they've gotten them. And that's what we did at Saturday night's main event on his final night as a pro wrestler. He said that is where we saw Soruka. That is where we saw Javon Evans. And for the first time, we saw Oba Femi. And the crowd's, Oba. Which it wasn't the first time, but I guess the first time on the main roster. Anyways, Cena was then impressed that Oba beat Brock at WrestleMania. And Cena said he was so happy with how all that went down. He has something new to announce tonight. A brand new, never-before-seen event. The John Cena Classic. He says over one evening, the best of today will face the best of tomorrow. Members of the WWE main roster will face NXT members and battle to become a new champion. He then said this new champion, which he never said what the title's called, will be voted or will be crowned in a new memorable way. He said that I've always talked about the WWE superstars. Now, the WWE superstars are the lifeblood of this company, but there's one WWE superstar bigger than all of them. It is you, the fans. The fans are the biggest WWE superstar. They have the biggest voice in all of this. And I am so happy to announce that WWE listened to my ideas and took my ideas. And after the John Cena Classic, the new champion will be crowned based upon who you vote as the new champion. And he goes, and yes, that does mean that somebody that loses at the John Cena Classic could still leave as the champion, could still become champion because they show something in them, the hustle, loyalty, and respect that catches your eye and makes you vote for them. Cena says, and this isn't just going to be a one-time thing, once and it's done. I want this to go on to next year, 2, 3 years, 10 years, 30 years, forever. A new hallmark of the company. And I'm happy that WWE listens to my ideas and is actually going to run with it. So to summarize exactly what the John Cena Classic is going to be, it is going to be just a show with a bunch of matches, of course. A show with a bunch of matches where we will see main roster superstars versus NXT superstars on the rise. I don't know if by the end of the night or by Raw or SmackDown the next week, a new champion will be crowned based off of fan votes and who the fans liked the most on that show, which we hope they're truthful to the fan vote and they don't just, oh, these people got a lot of votes, but we're going to go with this person anyways. You know what I mean? I hope WWE, like some of or most of actually the Taboo Tuesdays and Cyber Sundays, were pretty spot on to what the fans actually voted from what we've heard in the past. And so that's John Cena's big, huge, earth-shattering, shake WWE to its core announcement. The John Cena Classic, main roster versus NXT, and a new champion will be crowned by a fan vote based off of, and you can only vote for people that were on the show. So it's like if Roman Reigns does not work the John Cena Classic, you can't vote for Roman to be the champion. You know what I mean? You can't go on there and, oh, I got to write in Gingerbread Man. No, it's not going to work like that. Every participant on that event qualifies. Now, how do you qualify to be on the John Cena Classic? Who is going to wrestle on the John Cena Classic? Are they just picking random people from NXT to face random people from the main roster, or are you earning a spot on that show? They also did not tell us when the John Cena Classic is taking place, nor where the John Cena Classic is taking place. Those are the two things we don't know, when and where. I guess the third thing is how. How do you get on the show? Fourth thing, is this called the John Cena Classic Championship? And yes, I've already seen everybody on, or not everybody, but a lot of people on Twitter, they copy Tony Khan with the Continental Classic. I've seen all those jokes already. They can't help but copy AEW, Continental Classic, John Cena Classic. I've already fucking seen it, and it's dumb. Dumb. Hey, IGN Files. He says, Wrestling Unlimited lie. No Kyrie Sane return tonight. When the fuck did I ever say Kyrie was going to return? I never once said that. Like, not at all said that. So you can shove that up your ass. Take it where the sun don't shine. Or as The Rock would say, shove it straight up your candy ass. Yeah, you son of a bitch. Well, these motherfuckers like come in here and call me a liar on things that I literally never say, which is the funniest fucking stuff ever. But at the same time, annoying because it's like they're trying to knock my credibility, but making up fucking lies. You know who doesn't make up lies? Esports Gaming Rules and more bit donations. Lucha Libre AAA announced Triple Mania 34 two-night event with a break in between. It's a Friday-Sunday event. So what do you want to go to both nights, but you got to pay for 3 nights of hotel? Multiple nights of hotel? What the fuck? WWE? You're going to what? Drive in, fly in, whatever you're going to in on Friday. Get a hotel Friday night, and then think, all right, Friday, Saturday. No, Saturday, you got to find stuff to do. Saturday, you got to have a hotel room because it shows not till Sunday. No, I never said that, IGN Files. Prove me wrong. But I never said that. You can't prove me wrong. So yeah, that's interesting. They didn't tell us when or they said September 11th and 13th. But they didn't say where. Esports Gaming Rule says, man, Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns really have beef in Family Feud. I mean, in storyline, it ain't for real. They don't for reals have beef, but the kayfabe do. Esports Gaming Rule says, I was talking about the Asuka and Io Sky moment that was unscripted, and there were comments on social media about Asuka. Again, I know what you were talking about, but my question was, how do we know it was actually unscripted? Or were they told, have your match and then take a moment afterwards? You know what I mean? It may have been unscripted. It may not. We don't know. So just to say it was is like saying for a fact, for certain, you have proof to back up what you're saying. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Oh, Esports Gaming World's gonna be watching that as soon as this is over. I want to see that goddamn Chimaev and Strickland fight. Yes, he says, I am watching UFC 328 on Paramount Plus, aka MMA, a Bad Blood feud, Chimaev versus Strickland in Newark, New Jersey. Yes, I am gonna pop that on as soon as we're done here. So please no spoilers. Please no spoilers. Depending on how long this goes, to where if I go through that match, because I do want to see Chimaev and Strickland. Oh, buddy. Also, if you guys didn't see the press conference stuff from yesterday for UFC Freedom 250 or whatever it's called, that fucking press conference got wild. Anywho, hold on. Okay, never mind. So as far as the show does go, let me go back to the top of my notes because I scrolled down to get to my Cena stuff. Here we go. Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker kicks off the festivities on ESPN2. So they battle back and forth early on. They battle around ringside and all this kind of stuff. And Breaker cuts Rollins off in the ring with a suplex as he takes over control. Breaker cut him off again by hitting a running shoulder tackle and multiple German suplexes. Also, this was the longest match of the night at 21 minutes and 45 seconds. Rollins bit Breaker's face out of desperation while on the top rope, but it wasn't enough because Breaker hit a Frankensteiner, which was a little mistimed by both of them because Breaker did the flip for the Frankensteiner, and then when Breaker hit the mat, then Seth hit his front flip bump, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Anywho, with Rollins outside of the ring after he rolled out of the ring, Breaker tried a running sneak attack, but Rollins super kicked him out of midair. Rollins then hit a clothesline back in the ring for a 2. Rollins then set up for a curb stomp, but Breaker got his knees up. Seth Rollins then just kneed him in the face instead and got a 2 off of it. Instead of going for a stomp, he just kneed him right in the face. Rollins then went for a stomp, but Breaker blocked it and simply caught the boot. Breaker then hit a press slam gutbuster and went for a spear, but Rollins kicked him and blocked it. Rollins then tried to go for a tilt-a-whirl into a DDT or a pedigree, I guess you would say, but they were both kind of just avoided. This kind of didn't seem smooth enough. It seemed like a little bit of a botch. I don't know. It seemed they were not quite on the same page with that spot. Anywho, Breaker then made up for it. He just went for a standing moonsault and got a 2. At one point, Breaker went to the top rope, but Rollins met him up there and went for the suplex. But then when Rollins went to transition from the superplex into the Falcon Arrow, nope. Braun Breaker hit the Falcon Arrow instead, popped the crowd. I really like that reversal counter, whatever you want to call it. I thought that was great. You think Seth's going to do that Falcon Arrow, but nope. Braun does it instead, and it looks so smooth. It looks so smooth. Breaker then hit another Frankensteiner moments later that looked better than the first one. He tried another, but Rollins landed on his feet, and he fired up as Breaker looked in disbelief. Rollins then hit a super kick and a pedigree. Rollins then followed this up with the curb stomp, but Heyman went up on the apron to cause a distraction of the referee. Rollins then smiled and grabbed a steel chair, realizing what could be coming. Yes, the Vision. Austin Theory and Logan Paul tried to sneak attack, but Rollins attacked him with a chair instead. He gave Theory a curb stomp and chased Paul away. Rollins then sprinted back into the ring and was met with a Braun Breaker spear. Breaker then went for another spear, but Rollins countered it barely into a pedigree. Looked great-ish. Not as great as we've seen that move in the past with Roman. Rollins then went for a stomp off the ropes, where Breaker speared him out of midair. Breaker then followed this up with yet another spear, but it was like these two have beat the crap out of each other. They're tired. They're spent. They're just worn out. So, like, this spear was not the greatest of Braun Breaker spears. And then bada bing, bada boom, he pins Seth 1, 2, 3. So, yes, Seth Rollins does get beat. Braun Breaker picks up the big win. Michael Cole called this the biggest win of Braun Breaker's career. He said, Braun Breaker has arrived. Okay, cool. And it went to 21:45. I thought, though, it was a super, other than the one little miscommunication spot, super match to kick everything off. Kath Kelly, Sami Zayn came down. Kath Kelly then interviewed Trick Williams in Gorilla. Him and Yachty were there. Called himself a puppet master and says Sami is going to get these hands and get everything tonight. I don't think he said get these hands. He's not Braun Strowman, but you know what I mean. And these two essentially had a way better match than their Mania match. Trick comes down, big entrance. Whoop that Trick. Whoop that Trick. We're still missing Booker, though. I really, really wish, at least at Mania they should have done it. They should have had Booker. I like it. Yeah, man. Trick did it on the post show when they were doing the whoop that trick for him on the post show. But I mean, I don't know. So he comes out, he's doing his thing. Yachty's throwing money. So they're on the post show, right? And Jackie Redmond goes, "Okay, I have a question. I have to ask. How much money were you throwing out?" Apparently, people said it was real money. And he's like, I only roll with 1,000. It's always 1,000. He's like, I can throw more right now, and he throws money. And Jackie Redmond's like, maybe we throw this to the fans. We don't need this. So I talked enough about the gingerbread man shit last night for SmackDown, so I'm not going to get into any of that tonight. Williams booted Zayn early on to start the match. Whooped that trick chance from the crowd. Zayn tried to make a comeback, was about to use steel steps as a weapon, but then stopped when Lil Yachty got in the way. Zayn then hammered away at Williams in the ring. Fans then booed this, and Zayn smirked, going, I like it. So Sammy's embracing the heelness. He's turning. Trick's turning. Trick's a good baby face. Probably a better heel, but let's see where they go. Actually, there was something I saw in the pre-show now that I think about it. When I was at the auto shop waiting for them to start work on my car and everything, I pulled up the pre-show, and I think it was Corey, maybe it was Cole. Somebody interviewed Trick before, telling his backstory before coming to WWE. And Trick was really good here, talking about how, yeah, I played football before wrestling. Yeah, I played for South Carolina. I was not invited on that team. I was not recruited for that team. I was a walk-on of 200 people trying to try out for that team, and I made it. He's like, and that's how I've always been. I'm going to work hard to prove that I deserve where I want to be. And that's what he did in college football, and that's what he's doing in WWE. And he's basically saying, I want to inspire those that don't think or are told they're not good enough, that they are. And with enough hard work, you can get what you want. Because he said that he was playing at some like junior college or something. And when he told his coach he wanted to go play for South Carolina, his coach was like, how do you think, or he said something like, you think you're going to go play for South Carolina when you barely get playtime here? Or something like that. And I was like, damn, what a fucking asshole coach. And then Trick basically was like, that motivated him, and he said, watch me. And he did. And he went out there and he was the standout for South Carolina, who was one of the top 5 teams in the country at the time. So, really cool story. Anyways, back to the match. Zayn hit a sunset flip powerbomb at one point off the ropes. He traded counters again, but this time Zayn got the better of it with a blue thunder bomb for a 2. Zayn feigned a knee injury with a springboard off the ropes. Williams waited a moment. He was backed up by the referee. It was, I think Daphne LaShawn was the referee here. But it was all a ruse by Sammy. Trick eventually was like, I see you're playing games, and they fought. Yachty then argued with the referee at one point, which caused a distraction, which allowed Zayn to hit Williams with the candy cane kendo stick. Zayn then aggressively booted Williams until the referee stopped him. I'm like, why? I don't know. I guess because he was backed into the ropes in the corner, kind of. The referee then checked on Trick. Lil Yachty then hit Sammy with a kendo stick. Williams followed this up with the trick kick and got a near fall off of it. Williams at one point went after Sammy, but Sammy gave him a DDT off the top onto the steps, or off the top of the steps before entering the ring. Zayn then just provoked, just boom, hits Lil Yachty with a haluva kick into the barricade. Lil Yachty goes, we may be done with Sammy, but we may be not done with Sammy because he kicked me a little too hard tonight. So yeah, he took out Lil Yachty basically. Yachty awkwardly crumbled. Back in the ring, Sami Zayn went for a haluva kick. Trick dodge, Trick shot knee, 1, 2, 3. Trick is still your United States champion. So really cool. Good match. It was 13, just short of 13 minutes, and I thought these two worked well together. And again, gosh, say it again, better than their Mania match. So then The Miz and Kit Wilson enter the ring. There's this long video, the history of Danhausen coming to WWE and doing everything with Miz and Kit Wilson, like the whole history of leading up to this match. And again, I'm sitting here going, okay, where are we getting Jelly Roll? Because again, I thought it was going to be Jelly Roll, and I'll admit it, I was wrong. I thought because Jelly Roll originally, back before Mania, agreed to work this show, did not have a concert tonight, loves WWE and wants to come back anytime, worked with Kit Wilson already just not that long ago. I was like, yeah, Jelly Roll fits here perfectly. And it wasn't. It was not Jelly Roll. So Danhausen comes out. He's got the Danhausen mobile. And we got the big crate sitting at the entrance as well. Danhausen goes over and he's trying to open it up and doesn't open it first. And then he boom, pops the door down. He's like, nothing comes out for a second. And then Minihausen. A little mini Danhausen. Minihausen comes out, and that is his partner. Yes, Minihausen, who, according to PWU Insider and others have confirmed it as well, it was actually AAA's Masquerita Sagrada who played Minihausen tonight. So that was really cool. And Lince Dorado made the mask. He confirmed that on himself. The mask that Minihausen wore, and I think the other minis. Yeah, Lince Dorado made that mask. Really, really cool. But, so it was basically Minihausen and Danhausen versus The Miz and Kit Wilson. Until later when Minihausen gets thrown into the clone box and get cloned again, and then we get a bunch of Minihausens, which Miz bitched about later, saying, hey. So, Miz actually has a legit gripe here. So, I didn't really take notes in this match because there was just too much going on and it was preposterous and I was like not even into it and whatever. But I got some notes. I got some notes here. The crowd was playing along a little bit with all of this and they were into it to an extent, I guess you would say. The heels had the advantage early. They beat up the little mini. Danhausen, they made the hot tag and ran wild. Both guys, got some offense on it. No DDT on the Miz. Mini Danhausen and Kit Wilson were fighting up the ramp, which I'm just sitting here going, is this a no DQ match now? There's like, the ref's not counting. Later, the Miz uses a fire extinguisher, granted on himself and Kit, but still. Anyways, so Kit Wilson gets the better of the Minihausen. He throws him into the box. The box then pops back open and a bunch of Minihausens pop out. And they all just start fighting with Miz and Kit Wilson. Well, later, Miz gets interviewed after the show and he's like, how does any of this make sense? It's a tag team match. 2 people on one side, 2 people on the other side. Tell me where my math is wrong. Then there's a referee, one person. So that should be only 5 people allowed to interact in the match, correct? And I think it was Kathy Kelly was like, you're right. He goes, so then how come there was like 10 people out there? How come in the end there was like 10 of us out there? And the ref didn't do anything to stop any of it. And I'm sitting here going, you know, Miz ain't freaking wrong. He goes, I'm going to have a talk with Nick Aldis about all this. This isn't over. Anyways, they're all fighting everywhere. They got 50 Minihausens. It's really like 6. But they're all doing whatever. Then Miz gets cursed again. He goes and grabs a fire extinguisher. When he goes to spray it at Danhausen, instead he sprays it on himself and Kit Wilson and back on himself. And so Minihausen then wiped out Wilson with a dive. Danhausen hit Miz with a pump kick and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So, yeah. There we go. That was it. It was there. It went 12 minutes, but it felt like 20, which is not a good thing. Not a good thing. So, Michael Cole, and correct me if I heard this wrong, said he got a text right after the match from Punk that just said, this is wrestling? Did he say CM Punk? He said something about I got a text. I thought he said from Punk that says, this is wrestling. And it is. And Wade Barrett just goes, oh, what happened to the business I love? So it's like Michael Cole is supposed to be the side of the fan base that likes it, where Wade's the other side that's just like, this shit's preposterous. This is when they do the Triple Mania announcement. There's another commercial for a Riyadh season. Then we had Asuka versus Io. And this match was freaking amazing. These two work so well together. The match starts off and immediately there's a "We want Kyrie. We want Kyrie" chants going. It was very loud too, like very loud in Tampa. And Asuka's controlling the match early on. Io Sky fires up with some offense, which got the crowd's attention, I guess you would say, for the real first part of this match, about 2 minutes in. Again, the match itself did go 18 and a half minutes. Technically, the longest match of the night. The main event went 18-15. So for all the criticism of everybody got short matches, well, your three of your biggest matches here all went well over 15. They're 18, 18, and 21. Anyways, Asuka took control back after driving Sky's head into the ring post. The crowd then chanted for Sky to get back into it before she did, and then they we want Kyrie again. Asuka hit kicks to the chest until Sky blocked one and hit a double foot stomp. Sky followed this up with a back elbow and an uppercut, a missile drop kick, and a running meteor in the corner for a 2. Asuka responded with strikes of her own and knee strikes for a 2. Sky hit a German suplex into a bridging cover to take over and get a 2. Asuka then tried an armbar, but Sky quickly escaped. They traded kicks, and both women went down. So they do a double down spot here. But I want to talk about double downs for a second. So I don't know when the first ever double down spot actually took place, but Shawn Michaels was on Stephanie McMahon's podcast this week and actually told the story about the first time he ever heard about a double down spot and was told to do a double down spot. Came from old Pat Patterson himself. Pat told him and Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, to do a spot where they clothesline each other, they both fall down at the same time, and then you just lay there and wait to see what the crowd does. And Pat's like, and I know they're gonna stir, they're gonna rumble, baby, they're gonna, and like it's funny though because he tries to do a Pat Patterson. I can't do a good Pat Patterson. He tries to do a Pat Patterson impression, and Stephanie goes, "Why do you sound Italian?" He goes, "My French Canadian's not that good." Anyways, no, but he tells a story about how, Pat before it was a dark match, I think it was, off of taping. And dark matches where you can try things for the first time, see if they work. And Pat told him and Scott, you're gonna come into each other and you're gonna, I don't know why I keep sounding like Dusty, but you're gonna clothesline each other at the same time and you're gonna fall down and you're gonna lay there and don't get up for a whole minute. Don't get up until you're told to get back up. And I guess they're gonna send a message to the referee or something, tell him when to get up. He's like, and you're just gonna listen and see what the crowd does, and they're gonna sit there for a second, but then they're gonna stir and they're gonna go, and then once you both slowly start to get up, you're gonna get them. And he's like, and Pat, Sean's just like, and I'm sitting here just thinking, they're really just gonna watch us both lay there. And it was Pat, so we did it. Everyone respected everything Pat told them. If Pat comes up with an idea, you're gonna try it, you're gonna do it. It's Pat freaking Patterson. And so they do the spot, and it goes over so well. He goes, and from there on out, Scott and I laid on the mat every night. We laid there, and we soaked it in every night. And now, years and decades later, they're doing that in every single match. That all came from Pat, at least according to Shawn Michaels. He thinks that was the first ever double down spot. I don't know. This was in the mid-90s, early mid-90s. I don't know if that was the first ever double down spot, but according to Sean, it was, or one of the first ever double down spots ever done in a wrestling ring. And he's crediting Pat Patterson with coming up with the idea, which when you think about it now, he even said it. Now you do that spot and everyone chants, this is awesome, which he's not wrong. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. This is awesome. Anyways, double down spot in the Io Asuka match. I almost said Io Kyrie match. Io Asuka match. I just lost my spot. I just lost my spot in my notes. Oh, here we go. Asuka. Asuka hit kicks to the chest of Sky, but Sky blocked one eventually and hit a double foot stomp. Sky follows up with the back elbow and an uppercut. Nope, I read that already. Sky hit a German suplex into a bridging cover for a 2. Trade kicks, both women go down. There we go. Now I'm at the right spot. Asuka tried an armbar, but Sky slipped out of it and applied a version of her own Asuka lock. but Asuka got to the ropes. Asuka went to the top, and Sky hit an uppercut and a Hurricane Rana. However, Asuka rolled through into a cradle for a near fall. Sky avoided a running hip attack, and Sorry, my phone went off there for a second, and I lost my spot. Where was I? Sky tripped Asuka and hit a flying crossbody off the table. The crowd chanted for Sky as she hit an Asai moonsault. Asuka dodged the moonsault and locked in the armbar. Sky countered it, but Asuka caught her in the Asuka lock. It looked like Sky was about to pass out, but she had just barely caught Asuka in a cradle for a 2. Asuka then blocked a kick and hit a German suplex. However, Sky blocked a kick moments later and hit a German suplex of her own. Sky then followed this up with a running Meteora and a moonsault to pick up the victory. So there we go. Bada bang, bada boom. Then I need to send a text message here really fast. But yes, there we go. Io Sky does pick up the victory. So the match ends. Both women get to their feet and they're in tears. They're crying. They're just looking at each other. And then they embrace and hug. And I don't know what's going on here. Is it a, man, we just freaking killed it, screw everything, let's hug? Is it a, man, this really would have been better if Kyrie was here? Or is it one of them's leaving? It's not going to be Io because her boyfriend, fiance's here. Goodbye. I don't know. But Asuka gives the big, Asuka and Io give each other a big hug. They embrace. They say a couple words to each other. Asuka then leaves, gives Kyrie, or I keep saying Kyrie because it's so easy to say Asuka and Kyrie. Asuka leaves, gives Io the ring. Io, for a second and then leaves. So I don't know what's going on with all that. That was very, very weird. But give me 2 seconds, guys. I need to just send this message. There we go. Excuse me. Anyways, great match. I thought this match was really, really, really good. And if you ask me what I think the best match of the night was, it might be this, but at the same time, I think Roman and Jacob could be considered better, if not just by a little bit. So let me get the John Cena stuff. Well, they say people are in the crowd. Steve Kern, Dan Spivey, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're in the crowd. John Cena comes out and makes his big announcement. We ran this down and talked about this earlier. Then we go to our main event. Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu, the World Heavyweight Championship. But I want to tell you guys, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, remember all you got to do is donate a bit donation on Twitch or super chat over on YouTube. Those Roman Reigns and it's Jacob Fatu. Now, the story they're trying to tell, let's get into this for a minute because I fucking love this. And actually, no, we're going to wait till the end because it plays into what happened at the end and the comments of both men after the match as well. So never mind. I was going to go run down the what I think this story is going to be and where it's going, but I think there's more to it. So anyways. Reigns tries to knock Fatu down, and he kind of gets him down with a shoulder tackle, but then immediately Roman's like, yeah, I fucking got him. And then Jacob rises. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like, it didn't even wound him. Fatu no-sells it. Knocks Roman down instead and out of the ring. Went for a dive. But when it seemed like Roman blocked it, Fatu applied a Tongan death grip instead. Also, Jacob Fatu coming down with the Umaga tribute. He wore the, I don't know what you would call it. It's not a towel, not a skirt, not a wrap, like a wrap. The blue one with the black. It was an old Umaga looking one around his waist. And then he wore a lei that was handcrafted and made by the daughter of Haku, which would be Tama Tonga's sister. Tama Tonga, Talatonga. Anyways, Fatu let go of the hold because they were outside of the ring. When Fatu went after him again, Reigns wrenched him against the ropes. Reigns then drove Fatu's hand into the ring post to prevent him from trying to go and doing the move again. And there were very loud very loud OTC Jacob, OTC Jacob chants, like dueling Fatu Roman chants. So the crowd was more for Roman, of course, but they were into both guys, if that makes sense. Reigns hit a clothesline in the corner, and Fatu stopped it by simply grabbing Roman's arm. Fatu hit a clothesline and drove Reigns shoulder first into the post. Fatu missed a corner splash, and Reigns came back with more clotheslines and a big boot. Reigns hit a Superman punch, but Fatu kicked out a one and popped right up to his feet. Fans started chanting for Fatu, who no-sold Roman's offense before hitting a clothesline and a senton. Fatu headbutted Reigns 10 times in the corner and then hit a running hip attack. Fatu set up for another hip attack, but Reigns exploded out of the corner with a Superman punch after Fatu kind of pandered to the crowd a little too much, doing his and then he turns around to go for it, and boom! Roman with a Superman punch. Fighting on the outside, where Fatu powerbombed Roman through the announce table. Fatu then rolled Reigns back into the ring, but Reigns speared him for a near fall. Reigns went for another spear, but Fatu countered into a pop-up Samoan drop. The crowd went crazy as Fatu followed this up with a mighty moonsault, and Reigns kicked out. Fatu went for a senton bomb, but Reigns got his knees up to block it. They slowly got to their feet and traded right hands. The crowd's stirring. Fatu got the better of the exchange, and Reigns fell into the corner. Fatu immediately hit consecutive running hip attacks. Fatu applied another Tongan death grip, and Reigns appeared to be going out, but fired right back up at the last second and put the fingers in Fatu's eyes. Reigns then shoved Fatu into the corner, and as he did, the referee was knocked down. Dazed and not out. Fatu then tried a pop-up Samoan drop, or Roman's countering into a Superman punch, and he followed this up with a spear for a close near fall. Fatu then applied another Tongan death grip, and Reigns held on to the top turnbuckle for leverage. As they were fighting, the turnbuckle pad basically came off because Roman was yanked away from it. Fatu then still held the death grip. Reigns then shoved him head first into the exposed turnbuckle. Follow this up with a barely hitting spear because Roman's like out of it. Falls on top of Fatu and pins him 1, 2, 3. So Roman retains. Jacob's pissed because Roman technically cheated, according to Fatu, which, yes and no. He used the exposed buckle. Fatu goes psycho, crazy. Holy shit, uncaged animal. Fatu attacks Roman after the match with yet another Tongan death grip. The referee tries to stop him. I think it's Stu Bennett. Not Stu Bennett. Maybe Stu Bennett? Whatever. He grabs the referee, throws him up, because this guy's a small guy, so he throws him in the air, grabs him, boom! Moan drop. Officials and all these guys start coming out to the ring. He super kicks Hurricane. He grabs Adam Pearce and chucks him out of the ring. Fatu then puts Roman in the hold again as 5 officials are trying to yank him off. Freaking Adam Pearce is back in, pulling him by the hair, and Fatu's just on. Eventually he lets go. He grabs the world title and he holds it up high over Roman Reigns. And they finally get him out of the ring. I'm like, holy crap. Jesus Christ. And so they're like, thank you everybody for watching on ESPN Unlimited. That's Backlash. Have a good night. And they go off the air. So you immediately jump to YouTube. And as soon as WWE's live stream starts over there, they're Kathy Kelly talking to Roman at the top of the ramp. What's going on? And there's a couple minutes have passed, of course. But Kathy's like, Roman, congratulations on winning the match. What do you have any thoughts about what Jacob did afterwards? And he's basically just like, that's why I didn't want him here. Jacob Fatu was unpredictable. Jacob Fatu, he can't be stopped as far as like he's a crazy animal. He's somebody that doesn't need to be here. He's a threat. He is unhinged. And he is not somebody that is good for WWE. And somebody's going to get hurt. Something's bad's eventually going to happen. And I got to put a stop to this. He goes, as far as I see it, we're ending this. And this is Jacob's last night in WWE. And they immediately cut to the post-show panel. And they're like, whoa, what does that mean? Is last night in WWE? And I think it was Big E goes, well, you know, Roman's got the power to bring family in. Does he also have the same power to kick family out? And then, so Rosenberg's trying to like say some stuff about Jacob, and that was cool and everything. And Corey Graves is like, shut up, Rosenberg. No, that's not cool. That's not how you act. He lost, and then he went crazy. And Corey Graves just going off on Rosenberg was great. But the story they're trying to tell here, I love this freaking Jacob Fatu and what the story is. We all know the backstory of Jacob Fatu was in prison. We know the backstory of Jacob Fatu at one point was a bad man. He's a bad, bad man, as they say. And Roman Reigns said that, Jacob was never brought into WWE by him because Jacob does not deserve to be in WWE. Jacob is a wild card and somebody that is not the type of person you want in this type of a company. Let him go run the indies, whatever that is. And so, Jacob comes in and he's working for Solo and he's doing Solo's dirty work, and eventually turns on Solo. He becomes this big baby face and everybody loves him. But it was only a matter of time before we see the real Jacob Fatu come out, and that's what we're seeing. What's supposed to be the real Jacob Fatu. Yes, at times he tries to be a good guy. He tries to do the right thing, but in the end, the real Jacob Fatu, the menace, the wild man, the unpredictable, don't give a fuck, is gonna come out, and it's hard to get to stop him. And so Roman now is saying, we gotta get him out of this company. We gotta fire his ass, basically. Get him out of here. How they do that, I don't know, but I love this. I think this is a great story because it's like, yeah, people that know Jacob know he could be a really good guy, but at the same time, he could fall into those tendencies of doing bad things and being a bad guy as well. At least that's the story they're telling. Everybody that I know, and I know a couple people that know Jacob Fatu or that have had extended conversations and time with him, or just he's a great guy. Great guy. Had a bad past, but everyone gets past that and he's a great guy. So it's like the real Jacob Fatu is a real great guy, but I love that they're playing into, hey, he was a bad motherfucker back in the day, and that bad motherfucker can still come out at times. So the other story is, we know the Usos were there. We know the Usos were at the building in Tampa because they were on the pre-show. But why didn't they come out to help Roman? Why didn't they? Maybe Roman didn't need it during the match. Maybe Roman told him, don't come out during the match. But then afterwards, when Jacob's going ham, going crazy, going wild, why didn't the Usos come out? Are they with Roman? Or did they not come out because they're with Jacob? There's the big question. Where do the Usos' loyalty lie after not getting involved tonight when they've been just as an integral part of the story of this match and building it up as Jacob and Roman? So this ain't over. This ain't over. And does this bleed to Saturday night's main event on the 23rd? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Does it bleed to Clash in Italy on the 31st? I don't know. But the Roman Jacob storyline is not over yet. And I'm here for it. I'm here to see it continue. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, that was Backlash. I thought a pretty good show with a 12-minute, maybe 15-minute, if you count the entrances and everything, go eat dinner, potty break. And hey, this show was over before 9 o'clock Eastern. Oh, shit. So, yeah, with that, you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of Backlash. So let's go and refresh the polls. Unlike last night, I actually remembered to do the polls. Excuse me. Woo. Sorry for anyone listening with headphones right now. Okay. So Twitter doesn't like to send out polls anymore, and I'm not the only one to say this. I've heard Jeff Gluck say it. I've heard Freddie Kraft say it. Twitter just doesn't want to send out polls. Because before, when we would get 200, 300 sometimes votes on a poll, we got 4. And they all voted, I liked it. What? There's something within the algorithm on Twitter. They just don't want to send out polls anymore. Because, Jeff Gluck was talking about it. They would get, 30,000 or more votes on the Good Race poll. And then, the last couple of weeks, he's gotten less than 1,000. So, yeah. Or I'd get a couple hundred. I'm getting 4. I got 4 tonight. So, also, I don't know what's going on with my camera. And it doesn't want to stay in focus. Am I moving around too much? I don't know. As far as the Threads poll does go, 56% liked the show, 33% thought it was just all right, 11% didn't like it. Looking at the community poll, 70% liked the show, 20% thought it was just all right, and 10% didn't like it. And as we look at the live poll, 69% liked the show, 17% thought it was just all right, and 14% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. And I say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys. All right, if you're still watching live on Twitch, we're going to hit a raid really fast.